Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luka's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my.
Yeah, welcome, guys. We hope you enjoy spending, the next hour with us here on the Luka Tiger LeBron show. We do a Coffee with Cage episode every single week, and we've kind of turned it into a Clubhouse episode. So it's been fun. It's been super lightweight. We've been bringing new guests on, and today, we'll talk kind of the upcoming card releases. We'll talk a little bit about Pokemon. Logan Paul is going to have his event with Golden. And then talk a little bit about Top Shot, NFTs. So Rare, a soccer NFT, got $50 million funding today. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. And, Brighton's here from Hype Cards. So he'll come up, he'll speak. And we also polled our community from Instagram. That's where, most of our community is. And there's some Coffee with Cage questions there if no one raises their hand. So it'll be fun. So how you doing, Cage?
I'm doing great, man. Very excited to be here. Look at those orange tiger stripe avatars. I love them. I love it. Nice job, guys.
Yeah, shout out to you, Gav. Shout out, Jordan. What's up, Brighton? So, Cage, I'll kick us off because it's always a little bit tough for someone to raise their hand and come, kick it off with something that's topical. We'll get to NFTs. We've kind of beat a dead horse with this NFT. Anyone who's in the hobby has heard NFTs. But with Prism, right around the corner, right? Modern's tanking, or has been tanking, finding a correction. Just for like short-term stuff. Like we don't talk enough about, I guess, like modern cards. What do you see is happening? Melo's the talk of the town, but really Zion, Ja, Luka, Trey, their cards have been coming down. What do you expect to see with the Prism release?
I like the Prism release, to be honest. It's just I'm curious to see what happens with pricing on it, right? Because all things being equal, last year we were catching some momentum, and then the prices all went up. This year, modern cards are not the ones that are in vogue, right? And I would say Prism is being released at a time where people are not exactly all in on modern. So I'm curious to see what happens. You have a little less momentum, and you also have a draft class that is, I would say, the weakest, at least top line of the last few. You don't have a Luka, Trey, Zion, Ja carrying it. LaMelo's great, and don't get me wrong, but that's the draft class all of itself is it's not exactly as stellar. So I'd love to see what happens. Honestly, I think what's going to happen is when it releases, I think they push it back to April. Last I checked, when they release it, I think there's gonna be a lot of people buying it. There's a lot of people ripping it. There's gonna be a lot of breaks online. People are gonna be excited for it, and a quick prediction on it. I think the prices are gonna be high. And I think when people see how much a LaMelo is selling for, or an Edwards or a Halliburton, who seems to be a pretty big fan favorite, they're going to take a look at last year's Prisms in PSA 10 and say, "Wow, that's cheap by comparison. Why would I pay X for a LaMelo when a Zion or a Ja are significantly less in already graded PSA 10?" And the extra,
but let's talk about that. Think about that. So let's say a box is $2,000, right?
Yep.
A PSA 10 Zion is $500-600. For that box to even be valuable, a LaMelo has to sell for $500-600 raw.
Yep.
But that doesn't make sense. Those numbers don't add up.
Well, there's more than just that one card, but yes, obviously the big raw cards, those cards they do they have to carry the box price. People are going to break them and then try to sell the top cards. But Prism, it's also about the colors, it's about the silvers, it's about the chance to get something else in it. It's not just a LaMelo base. But yeah, I mean, if you're asking whether or not I think there's the potential for the first time in a while, Prism pricing to not go through the roof, sure. I mean, it's possible. People also thought that was going to happen with football, though, when football released and Burrow had just gotten injured. And the football prices were crazy too. I mean, those were, the boxes were pretty expensive, over $1,000 for a box of Prism football, which is a lot. It's not basketball pricing, but it's a lot. And I don't know, man. I balance it, right? I would say there's a lot going against it, but still, we have a ravenous fan base, right? You have a ravenous hobby base. You have people out there who want to rip, and this is the product to rip. You got people who saw hoops come out and saw the craziness of LaMelo $300 on opening day, and there are half the hobby is like, I'm not ripping that. Then the certified came out box with my son. People, I'm not ripping that. People are legitimately waiting for their chance, you know, like starving people walking through the desert. When's my prism coming? Like that's
Love it.
so I mean, I almost think at this point right now, prism is basically like bulletproof, and people will open it, and there will be people who pay whatever the price is to open it.
Love it. So, guys, today we hit 5,000 followers on Instagram. So it's a big day for us. We appreciate we're seeing a lot of the community here celebrating with us, but we're really excited to do this. And I want to ask you, Brighton, give us, kind of the midway point through the NBA season. What are you seeing with NBA? And what's cool about Brighton, he's never bought a graded card up until this year. He made all his money in the hobby in the last year on raw cards, and NBA is his thing. So Brighton, you guys might know him, Hype Cards on Instagram. Give us, your 2 cents on, what you've seen in the NBA season so far, what surprised you, who's overperformed, who's underperformed.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for bringing me up here and letting me speak a little bit. I think it ties in a little bit with what you guys were talking about with the push into vintage and people not spending as much on modern cards, and with Prism coming out. I think I personally think that when Prism comes out, we have seen the dip in modern cards and the push to vintage. You can see some cards starting to rebound. I saw a post today that Luka's Prism PSA 10 has increased I think it's 15% within just the last couple days. I'm seeing Jason Tatum come up a little bit. So you're seeing the big name players that have a lot of modern cards start to rebound a little bit. And I think Prism is going to push that up again as we go towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. I don't know what numbers the cards will reach, if they'll get back to where they were last year when there was just so much attention around sports cards, especially with NBA Top Shot out. But I think there's a handful of teams that are doing really well. I think maybe, the Mavericks are starting to catch a little bit of momentum. They were playing very, very poorly at the beginning of the season. It's been interesting to watch the Sixers play and their dynamic, whether it's the coaching or just a change in playmaking. I don't really know. But I think you're starting to see those prices rebound a little bit. And I'm curious to see if prices shift to cards that are less popular in the modern era, because I think the push to vintage was because there's just so few of those cards out, and you're not going to be able to buy, a Larry Bird or a Michael Jordan and get a PSA 10 on it if you can even find a raw card out there. So I'm interested to see how the second half of the season plays out. The schedule just came out, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think there was a dip, and hopefully some people listening were able to buy in. I think there's still a lot of opportunities, because I do think prices are going to start to increase as we enter after the All-Star game in the second half of the season.
Gav, you're adding all these people to the top part of the Clubhouse section. So yeah, I'm a Clubhouse rookie.
I'm just making the line.
He's forming a queue. And listen, it's a great time. Brighton, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the commentary. It's nice to be talking about something other than Top Shot. We'll get into that, I'm sure, at some point in the evening. And I love it. I've seen the prices of Prism start to go up. Also, Andrew and I talked about it on a recent episode as well. I think we're right around the floor. Maybe next week, the week after, and we're going to start to see it move up.
I don't think we've seen a floor. I've been very clear about that.
Yeah, you think it's coming soon?
Yes,
though.
It's around the corner, but it's not a bounce back. But I'll let you guys.
I do want a quick. I love Clubhouse. I love this platform, but I do want to say a quick thank you. I mean, the room is really filling up, and we have a great assortment of our Instagram followers and a bunch of people. Obviously, Jeff, Jonas. I'm not going to throw all the names out there, but people whose rooms we've been in. Matt, you and I had some fun conversation last night about manipulation of markets. So it's really great to see you guys in here. We appreciate it. We want to give every one of you a chance to chat with us, ask questions, you name it. I'll stay as long as it takes. We can keep this going for hours. I don't care. I got nothing else to do. Somebody else can take care of my kids. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate it.
Cage, do you know what this egg thing going on in the profile pictures is?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It's Tony. Tony, you changed your picture, man.
Me and Jen have been hanging out.
Well, it's funny. Eric talked about it on our episode today. So, guys, we have a podcast. Obviously, if you don't know, I'll plug it right now. It's Lucas Tigers and Bronze podcast. It's you can get it on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. So follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. Please do. Our episode today actually talked about the egg, but I don't want to go out of line. But Tony, why don't you tell these guys why'd you put an egg in your picture? Is he up there to talk or no? He left. He left already.
I'll jump in on it.
Eric, you can jump in. It's Eric. Eric, you were on the episode today and you talked about it. So go for it.
Man, it was a weird deal that we started talking about in another Clubhouse chat where the egg just became the topic of conversation, and it lasted like a few days. And the next thing I know, I got sucked into it. And it was an awesome conversation topic. And I was thinking, man, these things are way undervalued. I just thought it'd be cool. Like when I go to the Dallas show, I pull out like, $50,000 Kobe's and that Ted Williams I just bought, and like in the middle of my case, I just have like just a freaking egg and a PSA 10 holder, and literally, so we all just started buying them up, and next thing you know, they went from 50 cents a piece to like $20 a piece on eBay, and I was like, "There's no way this is going to catch on," and it has just exploded. I didn't know about it until like literally 2 weeks ago. I really did.
It's like the card version of GameStop. I mean, if enough people get behind it and buy them all up, look what happens.
That's kind of that was the whole principle of the conversation. Like we were talking.
It comes down and you lose a lot of money. I promise. Firsthand account.
Andrew has perfected the science of buying GameStop high and selling it low.
Well, we've taken him now. We sent got some going to Golden. He was getting on a jet this morning. I texted Golden and I said, "Hey, I think you need to have an egg." He says, "I'm so lame. What's an egg?" I sent him a card and he laughed, and then I sent one to Perry Rogers, Shaq's guy. And so we're having fun with this. It's a fun thing. And, I come back to my days at Upper Deck and building Ted Williams Card Company. It was all about the kids. Everybody jokes with Tony because they say, "Tony, you come from that junk wax area." I call it the kid wax area. It's when it was fun and we tried to get kids involved. I know everybody sort of went the investment way, and I respect that greatly, but I still think there should be.
Yeah, I love the offshoots of the egg, by the way. So winning right now is Makani. Makani with the Sanka Coffee Lucky Egg from Cool Runnings. Got it. There's your winner. I love it.
Yeah, well, Cage, just to jump in for a second, too, because I heard you guys talking about GameStop. What I think is pretty funny with regards to the egg is just there's a CNN article that was just like Wall Street's taken over the card industry as it's booming, right? And so what is the stupidest thing you can do? Just like GameStop is this stupid egg picture, which is also, by the way, the most liked picture on Instagram. And it's also the Kylie Jenner rookie card. That's why I think Tony has it in there, because it's the first card that's ever mentioned Kylie Jenner in it. So it actually has this like legs of hilarious meme worthy like card in a sense to like, not really, because the Wall Street's never going to buy this stupid card. But at the end of the day, it's almost like a joke of playing on the same thing. And I don't think anyone's putting their eggs on eBay to sell them for like, I'm sure like the people who are doing it have like a ton of freaking, followers, and not followers, but like eBay sales and so on and so forth. But the people that are like, that were buying them for like 50 cents, they're not selling them for the $20 that they're listed for. Right. Like, I think people are just buying them and they're just going to chill with their eggs. As Eric had said, he's just going to keep it in a holder and hold on to the egg. And it's just funny to have, if you're holding it next to the valuable cards you have. That's just
like as you're saying, I like the purity in it. Right. I mean, even if it's 20 or 40, $60 or even $80, it's fun. Like, I think what Tony was saying, it brings back just the humor and just another aspect to enjoy it other than just, collections, this and that, whatever. I honestly, we were talking about like going to the Dallas show and just had somebody having like one case full of eggs. Like that would just be an awesome, because if you walk by the tables, you're going to like the Dallas card show, right? And you just walk and you look at all these cards, $5,000 cards, $100 cards, six-figure cards, and you come across somebody's table, and then boom, they've got like a case with like 50 egg cards in there. Like they would be talking about it on trade night.
I don't know if you guys saw today actually on eBay with out of the same set from Allen and Ginter, the cryptocurrency card in a 10. I was just outbid at the last. It went for like $375 in a 10.
Yep, and these cards have like the same pop count as the cryptocurrency cards that sell for that much. So why not the egg? It's just I just think it's hilarious.
Totally, I bought some eggs.
Okay, hey, but so on the topic before,
I'm on the egg train.
Sweet, dude. I had a question, and I should have mentioned this to Cage and Andrew earlier. I had a question. So, and this is, I could be playing devil's advocate, and I apologize if I bother if anybody in this conversation topic, but it has popped up a couple times in conversations that I'm concerned that a lot of these people doing the razzes and break rooms, that some of the people, because I know that the people running the rooms that are breaking, right, they're making money on the boxes. I'm totally cool. I'm totally okay with that. Support that. I'm kind of concerned. Do you think, what are the odds on some of the people entering the rooms that are buying spots in these rooms that maybe don't have the money to be doing it? Part of me is concerning if they're buying like $50 spots, $100 spots. And I'm in a position, I definitely have enough money to enter those rooms. I'm just concerned if maybe there's, if there was going to be a black mark to where maybe, and I'm not saying Congress, but if it hit the news, people were like starting to go into debt, a lot of debt in regards to trying to, because they look at it as gambling. What if there is actually down the line, 6 months, a year or two from now, to where it actually kind of is causing people getting addicted to these razz rooms and stuff and breaks?
That's life.
Yeah, good response.
That wasn't me, but I mean, it's great answer. I mean, the Raz rooms have been around for quite some time. I love how it's called the Raz room anyway. But I mean, listen, you know, the thought process on there is, bet with your head not over it, right? It's always the same thing. You're an adult if you're putting money up on this stuff, right? If you got a PayPal or you're paying with that stuff. I don't see Congress getting involved in Raz rooms or breaks or, the hobby side of it. I mean, you never know. We'll have to regulate everything. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's something I never even thought about because they've been around for so long, right? I mean, these Raz rooms, these, gambling, you name it. It's not a new thing. I'm sure there are people who are losing more than they thought in those rooms, though.
Well, it's becoming so popular, though. Like, I mean, like, you're right. And I probably haven't been affluent or a part of them, so I don't have any idea. All I know is that like PayPal is regulating, like a lot of industry conglomerate corporations from now, it's coming to like Facebook's acknowledging it. They're trying to shut it down. PayPal's shutting things down. I'm like, man, is there something more to this? And I'm not seeing. And again,
well, the PayPal shutting it down is because of they're not getting their cut, right? So a lot of people are doing it. They put Raz in the title. They do it with friends and family. This way, so PayPal just wants their share of it, So also they don't want gambling. You're not supposed to be paying for gambling with with their stuff. But I mean, I think if you're smart about it, you don't do it stupid, you'll be fine. But that's like everything in our hobby.
Cage. So Anthony
Yep.
Collects has been up here in line.
Fellas, congratulations on the 5K, first of all.
What's up, Anthony? Thank you very much. We appreciate it, man.
No
Thank
problem.
you, mate.
And thank you for commenting on my post. The Booker comparison from like the PSA 10 to the Top Shot, roughly the same value. Really, it was more of an overarching question about, you mentioned So Rare, and I was hesitant about Top Shot, but Top Shot I can see the value, and that's why I invested a little bit. So Rare I genuinely disagree with as like from an investment standpoint. I can't see how there's value in the NFTs when I'm sure that they can mint more at a higher rate. So I know now that they're doing the out of 100, out of 10, and then out of 1. And these are for players, and they've got licenses for the clubs. But I don't understand how EA Sports can't do the same thing with Ultimate Team and then put that to use in their game. And so I know with the Top Shot, you're buying a moment from essentially from the NBA, but these are just player cards. And EA and Ultimate Team in FIFA has been doing this for 10 years, and you know that they're going to want their cut. This is how they make millions upon millions of dollars from Ultimate Team and microtransactions, where it's literally the same principle as Top Shot: buying a pack, getting players, and then selling it on their market. I can see them just implementing the same thing as an NFT. So I want your thoughts on So Rare.
So, Cage, I don't know if you know So Rare, an audience, but it's a soccer NFT site. It just got 50 million actually in funding today, I believe.
Yeah, yesterday.
And So Rare, how many hours have you spent on Top Shot?
I'd say 10 on Top Shot, 3 on So Rare.
Okay, I'm with you. I've spent a lot more on Top Shot, very few on So Rare. I think one of the things about these sites, to me, yes, there's money involved, and we put that aside, but how simple they are to use is a big factor. So for me, So Rare was just really difficult to navigate. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand how to buy players. In the beginning, when you're signing up, they have these, they walk you through a ton of screens where you're kind of opening cards out of packs that you're given for free, but you don't really know how to apply them. Where Top Shot, to me, it's so simple. You know, you could get on for 1-2 hours and you know exactly what's going on. Either you get a pack or you could buy a player from the NBA marketplace. So from that perspective, and the fact that NBA licenses Top Shot, it's a no-brainer. I think Top Shot is a ton better than So Rare. The fact is, I've seen Gary tweeting about So Rare, so it would be foolish, you know, if you're in Top Shot, not to go see So Rare and what's going on.
Well, Gary was part of the funding.
Okay.
Gary's part of the fund. That's probably why he's tweeting about it, right? So,
it was very confusing to use.
I'll take it two ways.
That's why it caught my attention, because I saw Gary and I follow Gary, and I think, you know, we all probably think Gary's a brilliant mind and he's a visionary type of person. But I look at So Rare and I literally compare it to Ultimate Team, and I think, I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team is the most simple to use game with a trading platform on it. It's just virtual currency. They could take the exact concept that they've got there and apply it to an NFT. It would destroy So Rare so quick. It is unfathomable. So that's why I don't understand that this, you know, they got 50 million in funding. They got 2 or 3 big players or former players, Rio Ferdinand. But you're talking about EA, who have had licenses with these clubs, with every club, for, apart from like 2 major clubs, for at least 11 years, since I started playing it. So that's why I'm so like confused. Why is all this money going into it? Mbappe's worth 30,000, 40,000 euros. But I can't see that value. And I would love to ask Gary. Obviously, I'm not going to have the reach to ask Gary. I've been tweeting at him, chirping at him. But I don't know. I'm confused. I open it to the room as well. Like, I just want a bit of clarity, and I want to know if people are investing in it.
So I think it's got 2 things going for it. So one is Gary behind it, and that moves markets, right? So obviously people pay attention when he speaks or when he puts his money behind it. And 2, there are a lot of things that So Rare is not doing the right way. It's clunky, but it's basically second to Top Shot, right? I mean, there's nobody else doing basketball. Nobody's really doing, you know, baseball. Nobody's doing football yet, right? I mean, the tops will tell you they're doing it. The leagues will say they're doing it. I mean, there's Panini Dunk, and there's Bunt, and there's all these other ones that are out there that are kind of childish. But what So Rare can do, especially with an infusion of cash, is I guarantee you that they're going to have dozens of people with Top Shot accounts checking out how Top Shot's doing it, and they'll alter their platform to do it in a way that's much more user friendly. So sometimes it's better to be second. Just ask Facebook how they felt about being second to MySpace, you know?
Yeah, but Cage, the confusing thing for soccer is there's 4 or 5 really big leagues, and is So Rare, you know, is it Champions League? Are you kind of playing across countries, or are you playing like in the EPL or the Spanish league? It's kind of just a cluster F of players. Sorry to curse, but I haven't played around with So Rare enough to really be dangerous. Has anyone in the room, you know, raise your hand if you've been on So Rare for more than 10 hours.
I haven't been on So Rare, but I'm curious, how long has So Rare been around compared to something like Top Shot? Because I know Top Shot's been around for, I think, a year now, and they just started gaining momentum. So I'm curious if anyone knows, like, how.
I heard since October, around October. I've got a friend that was in it in December, January, and, you know, he says, oh, it's cool. Like, you know, you've got the fantasy side of it. I mean, it's pretty clunky for a fantasy. You've got 5 players on your squad. I mean, there's 11 players on a field, and players that you literally have to put money in to get the, you know, out of 100, out of 10, and out of 1 players. They give you free ones, and then you're supposed to use them as the basis of your fantasy team. It just, I feel like I look at that and I think it's a great concept. It's proven that it's worked with Ultimate Team. They don't have the pack aspect yet, which I bet they do. I bet they have it in the works. But a company like EA is going to come in and destroy them. I can't imagine they won't.
Or buy them, right? Maybe that's why Gary's putting money in, or buy them. But Heroes, were you flashing your mute button? Is that a way that people communicate here in Clubhouse? Did you want to say something, Adam?
Andrew's used to like blinking lights
Yeah.
at truck stops. So
See,
well
I
done,
told
Adam.
you,
Way to
Cage.
catch his
When you
attention.
blink the mute button, that means you want to talk. Adam, congrats on 400, episode 400 of your podcast tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Congrats to you guys as well on the 5K. That's super cool. I think, I have been looking into So Rare. Like, I really started using the platform last night, and I spent like a couple hours last night, like kind of looking into it. And I think timing to answer the question, I think it had to have been last year that it got going, because there's 2019, 2020 cards, and there's 2020, 2021 cards. So, and I think realistically what So Rare is going to do to like a FIFA Ultimate Team or like a Madden Ultimate Team, because they have this for Madden as well. I think it's what it's going to do is that it's going to have to switch the way that marketplace works in Ultimate Team to make it so it's not just 1 year, because I think that's one of the, because I played Madden Ultimate Team, and that was one, and same with MLB The Show, and that was one of the couple of the reasons why I got into sports cards. But I think like the one thing that happens with like these Ultimate Team games is that the next year, all of the cards that you built throughout this whole year and all the coins that you made are all just gone. And I also think that you can play with them. You can play the game with them as well, and there's no real fantasy aspect to it. But I think that because you can technically sell coins or whatever, but it's against terms of service for EA. But there's still people that do it all the time. So I think what So Rare probably does is it probably adjusts how EA runs their Ultimate Team franchise. Just for those reasons, for the most part.
Do we know, is So Rare available to like everyone right now? Because I know Top Shot's not available in Asia yet. So I'm curious about that.
I believe it is. I shouldn't say I believe. There are.
I think it's everyone.
And Chinese leagues. So I would assume, and I've seen like usernames that they could be from Asia, but I don't know.
I love it.
I would
Preston.
assume so. I would assume so.
Preston, big man, what's up? Do you how you doing, man? Do you have a question? You have a topic? Anything you want to discuss that's top of mind? How you doing?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. So basically, going off this whole topic of Top Shot and So Rare, I was thinking about the Panini blockchain, and why do you guys think that it hasn't taken off? Is it because it's too one-dimensional, and are they not marketing well enough? Why do you think so?
That's a Cage question, and Mr. Darren Rovell joined us here, so thank you for joining the room. I know you and Cage have had some dialogue about the tuna card, the Tiger Woods Sports Illustrated card, and a whole bunch of other
Name
stuff.
the
So
room
thank you
after
for
me.
joining
I'm
us.
coming in. I saw Lefkoe and Rovell.
You know what? I'm a genius. I said put his name in the room.
I'm looking around. I'm like, wait a second. People are talking about me. I got to get in the room.
Thanks for joining, Darren. We appreciate it, man. We love you. So we're talking about, obviously, we got a whole bunch of topics. We got NFT. Preston Amato, who is a Rawlings guy, does some work with a whole bunch of companies in the sport. CC and a whole bunch of other folks just asked about why the Panini blockchain didn't catch on the way that a lot of stuff is catching on. And my thought on it is it was a little disjointed, Preston. I remember they have their own site. There's some auctions there. Then you were buying them on eBay. You were buying them all over the place. You weren't exactly sure what it was. They pretended that it was a card.
That's for me. That's it, Cage. Right? Like, so when you go on the site and you I thought I saw the Dan Marino one today. And I saw the one-of-one Dan Marino thing. I'm like, oh, that's a cool card. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. That's actually a one-of-one blockchain. So the fact that they made it look like a card,
And they had cards too. Sorry to cut in here, but they had they took the National Treasures and Prism cards and made them blockchain cards that you could buy from their site. So it's like, it was, you know, in my opinion, I think it was just such a weird, I thought it was weird that they didn't exactly say that, because like they said it was like a gift, if anybody remembers the specific launching of this. Like they said that in one of the sets, it was like, I don't know, it was confusing. So I think, yeah, I agree with that as well. Sorry.
Yeah,
Cage,
Adam.
I want to ask your take on something. So Top Shot moments, NBA Top Shot moments are now selling on eBay. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yep, some of them. Yep. There's one in golden too.
I want to hear your and Darren's thoughts on that. Like, Top Shot specifically came out and said that that's against policies, right? But people are still going to go and do it.
Well,
go, Cage. You go first.
Yeah, no, please, Darren. We name a room after you. I'm going to give you the courtesy, please.
I think eventually there. I mean, listen, it's on the blockchain, so I actually don't know about the engineering of making it specifically to where you can only trade on the marketplace. But obviously, they're concerned because if the NBA and the NBPA are going to get a cut, it's still, what's interesting is it's still on the blockchain. So as far as I know, and I'm the farthest from knowing exactly how the blockchain works, nor do I want in any scenario to try to learn that. I've learned enough in the last month, for God's sakes. But I would say that I think they see it. If a sale is obviously turned over and there's a new owner, they would still know. But as of right now, I guess they would not. They're not taking sales from the market. Only the marketplace are they getting the percentage. But I actually don't. Does anyone in here know the capability and how it actually works? Because obviously they can see that there's a changeover in ownership.
I was
Right.
gonna.
I'll tell you, the way they're doing it is there's a gifting function, which if people keep doing this stuff, you're going to get rid of that. But basically, the gift function is the way that everybody's working around it. And I'll tell you, because I've been on it now for a little while, there were a lot of off-market transactions made. People were trading moments, which is what the gift thing would be, or they were selling their entire portfolio. Sometimes they were doing it with the help of moderators, like Top Shot moderators would have it. But in most cases, you'd have somebody say, okay, I'm going to give you, Ethereum or Bitcoin or PayPal or whatever it is. I want that card, that moment, that serial number. And when they would pay off market, you would gift them the card. So Top Shot was out of that equation. It was akin to a PayPal gift, friends and family. They weren't getting their piece of it. So obviously Top Shot has every interest in keeping their deals on the marketplace. They've kind of cracked down on it. They've now upped the language around it. They put a warning on it when you try to gift someone a moment about how they can't protect you. There are scams going on outside of the marketplace, and they will only take care of you if your transaction is done on the marketplace. But if you transact off the marketplace and you get taken, they can't help you. That's the risk you run of doing it off the marketplace. But the same thing on eBay, right? If somebody pays you with PayPal or whatever payment method, you can gift them that card. So, I mean, I understand it. And I think part of the whole deal with blockchain is it's supposed to be this, this free and easy thing, right? And an actual ownership transfer. So eventually they're going to have to figure out a way where it's something that's yours and you can transfer it.
Right. But PayPal's fiat, and then blockchain is the moment. But Brighton was flicking his mute button. What's your
Cage, I had a question. Do you know how eBay regulates the buying and selling though? Because if you buy a card and then you pay and the person never sends the card, eBay can look into it and give you
They don't. Brighton, I know the answer to that question.
Yep.
They don't it is now in a gray area. So
yep, 100%.
It is not. This is not my. I don't have any real knowledge of this, but I do believe that both breaking and this are in a gray area that certainly has not been disclosed in any sort of literature warning or any sort of this is how it works.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's interesting the auction part of it, because when I was talking to Roham, he clearly embraced the fact that the auctions in Heritage and Golden were happening. He said that it was a landmark for CryptoKitties when Christie's did a CryptoKitty. So listen, I mean, for that, I actually think that there's acceptance. There was probably approval that went on there because obviously this is a big moment for them to cross digital into physical.
Yeah, and that's great press for them too. I mean, I tweeted at Ken Golden the other day because I have a complete Series 1 set of Top Shot, and I said, hey, somebody posted that it was worth X. And I said, hey, Ken, I know somebody who has one of these, you want to auction it off. And he's like, message me. But of course, he doesn't follow me. I'm a peon. So I couldn't message him. You can message him for me, Darren, if you like.
I'll even text them. I'll even text them.
See, but but I'm sure.
By the way, how many moments are in the first complete set?
287.
Get the hell out of here! How many people have that? Do you know?
Well, can't be more than 1,000. Actually, it's got to be less than that because I have several doubles of some of them. So not that many at all. The last posted price of the complete Series 1 set was something like $287,000 for floor. The floor. I have to caveat that floor. But yeah, Ken, he responded right away. He's like, go ahead, message me. Let's get it up there. And I'm sure the point, and to answer the question is, I'm sure that was with Roham's blessing. I'm sure that Ken, spoke with Roham and, it was blessed by Top Shot.
For sure.
And that would have to happen with any additional auctions.
I love it. So we'll take the next question from the audience. But back to Anthony real quick on So Rare and Top Shot, just to kind of close it off. So Rare is brand new. I don't know if this is talked enough about, but I was listening to Rohan, and I feel that his experience with CryptoKitties, he's basically been building Top Shot for 4 years, because he said after CryptoKitties, they went back with the CEO and basically went back to work. They used what they learned from the CryptoKitties experiment, which was successful, but just not mainstream successful. And now you're seeing Top Shot is kind of a culmination of that hard work. And that's why I'm such a believer in Top Shot, but I don't know about So Rare. I haven't had the experience.
Well, So Rare kind of, their idea is to meld both the moments and create some sort of game, which is funny because everyone's saying that, oh, hey, the next step in Top Shot, which will take it to the next level, apparently, maybe not, is a gamification of it. So Rare from the beginning has said, okay, you collect these so-called cards, and then you get points based on what your players actually do on the field.
To me, just the UI and the UX, and I've said this a ton of times of Top Shot, the average consumer, they're not going to be the brightest. They might spend an hour on a site, and if it's not easy to use, they're going to jump off. So maybe adoption of something simple like Top Shot and then adding gamification, that might be a better strategy than kind of rolling everything out at once, and the learning curve for a new user is steep. Do we have a question from the audience? I know Jonas is in line, I believe. If not, what's up, Jonas?
Go ahead.
Good.
I'm driving around.
No
Yes.
problem. I also have questions from our Instagram audience too. So we
Please
do like a
be
kind of
safe.
a coffee with Cage.
Be safe out there. We don't want you crashing your car to talk to us. Although I might crash my car to keep talking to Darren. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Don't do that. I'm not worth a car crash. Even my phone when I'm texting and driving says that.
So who do we got next? Who's up? Brad?
I'll go with. I could go.
Sure,
with the
I'll hop
question
in,
from
guys.
this.
Hey, Brad, go for it.
Hey, so as I'm thinking through this, somebody earlier mentioned EA, taking over Top Shots or So Rare or whatever. I think there's a really interesting theory. My kids are, of course, playing Fortnite, and I'm spending like crazy amounts of money on fake money, V-Bucks, to buy like outfits for games and things like that, which is a whole nother story. But what are your guys' thoughts on like the let's call it the LeBron Top Shots, where the no look 3 where he walks into the bench? I could see that getting incorporated into an EA game where literally you buy the card and that's your move. Like you hit the 3 and you can punch a couple button combinations, and now only the guys that own that moment can incorporate into the in-game play. Has anybody been talking about that behind the scenes? Have any insight there? Because that's a whole nother
I've heard
aspect of this.
I've heard that EA initially is out of the NFT game, and that was as of a week ago. So who knows? Listen, we're every day is like a year here. So I was told right now they're not interested. maybe that will be seen as stupid and they'll have another meeting and I'm not under their floorboard, so I have no idea. But the last I had heard, they are not interested.
But Brad, the question in and of itself is awesome, right? Because I've been in Clubhouse rooms talking about NFTs now several days this week, and every time someone has another thing of what they could build on those NFTs, whether it's a fantasy game, some other game app, whether it's, build a fantasy lineup using your moments, and you have to have a center or whatever it is. I know someone's already doing something like that or with Top Shot, but not a sponsored thing. DraftKings could do a specific, Top Shot fantasy lineup. Video games could be built on it. I think one of the cooler things is that, and literally every day I hear a different suggestion and idea that makes it sound cooler. Those are the potential value propositions that allow these things, that are built on the blockchain to, have some real utility. So I think it's cool. I don't know how the hell it works. I would have no idea how to do that stuff, but it just makes the whole thing got a layer, a complexity to it that the tangible physical cards don't have.
Brad, I know that Top Shot has already publicly said that they are going that route. They are already in the works to make a game, and I don't know any of the logistics behind it of who you need, if you need 5 players on the floor, what they have to be, but I know that they are going that game aspect, and you're going to be able to use your moments to play, and I don't know if you're playing for money or what you're playing for, but I already know that they are going that route.
I like the idea. I like utility. I think that makes a lot of sense. That'd be really cool if you could use what you buy.
Well, and Darren, I think you made the point with let's say you owe moment 3 out of 100 of LeBron. Maybe that's an autographed pair of his shoes, where moment 1 could be courtside seats. Terry Rozier actually was kind of trying to do some version of that on Twitter the other day, but his wording was kind of confusing.
He upped the ante, actually. He tweeted again today or late last night. If someone buys his jersey number moment, I think it was someone had it listed for $100,000. He said the person who buys that, he'll give them floor seats and a meet and greet with him and other
Terry
players.
Rozier. You see that's going to be interesting.
Scary, right? Scary, right, Darren?
Yeah, I mean,
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry. Yeah, but listen, that's not that. These things aren't regulated by the SEC, just like trading cards are. But there are concerns, right? I mean, the NBA definitely has some of these concerns. I think the NBPA would have some concerns. I mean, you're then offering something beyond what people are you're trying to motivate people to have to pay for your Top Shot and to give more than that. I don't know. I think there are a couple issues there. It's not exactly auditing by the SEC, but there are a couple issues there.
Well, that was my discussion with Cage, and that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Is you got Securities Act 33, you got Reg A that everybody's looking at and very closely. You've got the allocations of the IRS and tax implications that everybody has. I think I'm glad because I'm jumping into the NFT and I'm talking, Darren, to people very well. And I see that that's one of the biggest questions I'm having with people is how is this going to, or when will it be further regulated? And then to ensure that we're not making it a security in any way, like you just sort of alluded to. Anytime you start to make that asset a video clip and someone has interest in it gaining dollars, that's when it starts getting hairy for you. And that's why the NBA doesn't do it. It's all based on secondary market. But I think that's where it could get kind of regulation minded that Congress is going to take a look at it. But, I grew up in an era where, nothing but attorneys stood for NBA and they're really good and they're really good at what they do. So they got to poke through this whole really strong. But that Cage, we talked about that last night, Quinn.
And Tony, that's interesting to me, right? Because part of the blockchain and its association with crypto stands for freedom. So everyone assumes that it's all free and it's going to be completely unregulated. Now you can't, a crime is a crime, right? So that applies generally, but I think that's the assumption that this is blockchain and crypto are together and it's completely decentralized. And so everything should be fair game and no one can touch us. I don't necessarily think that's the case. And if you'll notice, at least so far, how much have we heard from the NBA publicly?
Very, very little, Darren. Very little.
Right. And I think some of it is also concern. Some of it is also concern that there. I know a lot of people here believe in Top Shot, but there is some concern that Top Shot is just using the NBA and the stats and GameStop. It's GameStop all over again. It's pump, 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 pump. And if you're the NBA, you have to analyze that because your brand is on the line.
Well, to complement that, Darren, it's the first time in my 40 years in licensing and that I am seeing the NBA put their brand at the top. It's not Upper Deck. It's not Ted Williams Card Company. It's not Panini has NBA. It is NBA Top Shots. The URL is NBA Top Shots. That puts additional risk in their hand. That's part of what I'm sort of looking at and saying, I'm glad it's nothing but attorneys. That's what I have looked at and just said, whoa. So my opinion.
So from a
That would have been
collector
a cool room
standpoint,
to be a fly in the room
nothing but attorneys.
when that agreement was going on. I just
I
wanted to be
kind
a
of
fly
like
in the
it,
room.
right? The NBA. I mean, I like that the NBA is behind it. I mean,
Amen.
Darren, you bring up a great point, right? Because they, they haven't really come out. You've seen players come out and say how great it is, but I haven't seen the NBA come out and say, "Hey, Top Shot, check it out." You've seen Shaq mention it.
I also think that's smart. Like I think the NBA has a lot more on the line than Dapper Labs, right? Like so the NBA has to be very clear and very calculated, and like I don't think there's anything wrong with their lack of response so far, and I don't think there's anything wrong with Dapper being aggressive. The only thing that I think that is a fine line here is when you're talking about the actual release of these moments and these packs, and we're going to release it. Oh, now it's another 3 hours. Oh, now it's going to be hard for us to get the money. We're not getting the money out. The director of product was also the director of fraud. Every time they have to check if you're withdrawing money. So that does in some way go on the NBA. But obviously Dapper, I think, has to say at some point our brand could be hurt if this. Yes, we're still in quote unquote beta, but we're at a time when we're getting 75,000 people in here. At what? I'll throw it in the garbage. At what? At
Is he
what
talking about Top
point?
Shot?
At what point? At what point? At what point do you say they shouldn't be in beta anymore? Right? Like this business is developed enough, and part of it is unfair, right? Because it's a big digital. I mean, this is the fastest digital growing product. So at some point, this is unfair how fast it's going, but it's not working over and over again. So at what point do you say Top Shot, listen, I have $1 million in or whatever it is, like, can you get out of beta? Can you say this is no longer a test? And I think there's going to be more and more pressure on that.
I've heard beta 6 months, another 6 months, but I would give him credit because I got a 7-year-old son who now knows how to spell the word maintenance.
And guys, I'm not sure. I'm not sure to what extent you guys have actually sort of reviewed the terms for Top Shots, because I get that you sort of are happy that the NBA has put their stamp of approval over the product, but at the same time, they have very strict terms and conditions over how Top Shots can handle the clips that they're licensing over, and they can pull the pin on any individual clip at a moment's notice. And obviously, their lawyers are, like Tony was saying earlier, are very well paid and very experienced. So to say that, well, we're confident because the NBA has effectively given it a stamp of approval, I'm not sure so much that we need to put that at the highest point in terms of whether or not we trust the platform itself, because ultimately the NBA still have the ultimate license over the clips, and they can pull those clips if at any stage Top Shots or Dapper Labs does anything which they believe puts their product into disrepute.
But if I'm a consumer, that didn't just make me happy. I'm just saying, because Dapper Labs has set up a centralized system. They've set up their own blockchain. They're not controlled by the NBA. The master license, as the licensor,
is held by the NBA, and yes, they could pull it. So that doesn't make me warm and fuzzy. You know, what's going to happen to my investment if that were to happen?
Well, if that were to happen, I got to get away from my kids. So you keep talking until I do that.
and I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you there, Tony. Like a lot of people that are like pumping Top Shots, I think are doing so a little bit blindly. And the two things, and I've been in a few different clubhouses now about this topic, and the two things that people always say in support of it is that, one, the NBA has given it its approval, and two, there are several people there with $50 million plus worth of purchase Top Shots. And I'm not too sure that either of those should be the be-all and end-all reason why you invest a significant amount of money in this product, if ultimately, and unlike most other blockchain products, the NBA could pull the product that Top Shots is using to sell each of their products, being the clip itself.
If I could navigate this conversation, I think this is going to go in a really good direction. We're not going to get off Top Shot, I promise you. But Darren tweeted something today, and this is a question that we get from our audience a ton too. So Darren tweeted that, you know, the hobby's been booming, the traditional sports card hobby, but it's taken a bit of a pause as digital's entered the game. Someone responded saying that they don't think it's the case and they don't see a lot of overlap. And Darren said he disagrees. So I'm curious if Darren, if you're with us,
I'm with us away from kids. Listen,
what do you think the overlap is between digital and traditional?
You know, if you do one of those circle diagrams, you know, I would say it's probably 25%. But here's the thing that are together. But the issue is, it's not only who is interested, it's not only who is buying NFTs, Top Shot, and who's buying cards. It's also who's interested, because I don't want to admit this, but it was past work hours, Action Network. I was staring at a digital piece of art for 30 minutes, and then I put it in my cart, and I was staring a little bit more, and ultimately I decided I couldn't do it. It could not break my wallet. Not something like that. And maybe it will change in a day or whatever. But I think time is being spent on Top Shot by people who ultimately don't purchase anything, but normally they would be scraping eBay. So I do think that at least time is being taken away from people who are used to traditional physical cards and are now looking around. And I think ultimately that does lead to a malaise or a difference in what previously the heat of the physical cards have been.
100% right, Darren. I don't know how many tweets I've seen. I stopped counting of people who said, since I got on Top Shot, I haven't bought a real card, quote, a tangible card, a physical card.
I'd love to hear what Brighton says, because so Brighton made his money last year, so to speak, off raw cards. And in a lot of ways, there's a lot of hurdles or a lot of barriers to, buying a raw card, getting it off eBay, getting it shipped. So I'm curious what overlap, if you look at Top Shot or digital moments.
Yeah, I actually have kind of a question
cards
on that topic for Darren. If you think of like a regular basketball fan, an NBA fan that's interested in finding a way to make money off of the NBA, do you think that they're going to turn to Top Shot, or do you think they're going to turn more to sports cards? Because I think that's where you could possibly see the overlay.
What are you suggesting? I missed that.
Are you saying, so like, if there's like an NBA fan that wants to just figure out how to make money off of basketball, do you think they're going to try and make money through NBA Top Shot, or do you think they're going to try and make money through investing in sports?
Well, I think listen, everyone talks about, this is not the secret, everyone talks about that it's a frictionless experience, right? You don't have to go to grade, you don't have to figure out whether it's worthy of grading, you don't have to then send it to grading, you don't have to then put it on eBay, which right now the fastest from pack to sale is 5 weeks. So obviously the philosophy from a philosophical standpoint, Top Shot's easier, but there's a lot of like everyone says like, oh, is all what's happening, is this all real? And I'm like, well, there's real transactions, but is it all real? And so the fastest way to make money scares me, because to me that seems like Top Shot's going to go down really quickly. It's like a long version of GameStop. In the end of the day, when everyone starts saying, when your Uber driver is trading real estate, that's when you get out.
Yeah, your dentist, right? 100%. Like my dentist is talking about crypto. Well, it's too late. Exactly.
So
does it have to be one or the other, though, guys? I mean, Brighton, I think the question is, hey, a basketball fan, who wants to make money on basketball, is he going to do it on cards or on Top Shot? Well, he probably does both, and maybe a little bit of daily fantasy.
Here's my fear. My fear is that right now there's a majority of people who ask, how can I make money, versus these are cool. And that's the problem. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be making money, but when money is the number one motivation, that's when sectors die.
100% agree. And it is exactly, we did 165,000 cases. Our POP, was huge at Upper Deck when we started, not in 89, but right when 91. And I was responsible for bringing in all the leagues, right? And we did 165,000 cases. I looked up the numbers last night in my brand book. And series 2, high series in baseball. The fact is that we went to Doug McMillan, who is now the CEO of Walmart, and he was the head buyer at Walmart. And we loaded Walmart up because we wanted kids involved. And everybody talks about junk wax. I talk about kid wax, because we had a focus to get kids and youth involved. And you look who's investing now. They're the guys that, opened up a pack when they were young. I hear that over and over. You got me involved, Tony. You got me hooked. And I got to go. I got 6 o'clock. But Darren's point, I think, is the most rich point of this discussion.
Tony, I love you, man. But, you lost me in 1994 when you were in your basement printing 1989 Upper Deck Griffey Jr. cards still.
I was gone. I was gone there. Cage, I was gone. Ted Williams was my partner, and we only did 9,999 cases.
You know what's so amazing? I can't believe that Doug Llewellyn, the guy who interviewed people when they won or lost outside People's Court, is now the Walmart CEO. If that isn't rich, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's right. And Cage, one more thing is that, I think we lost it when Richard didn't do just 800 cases of French hockey. And then he did, maybe can't tell you how many he did, but I know a lot went out the back door, and I know there was a whole bunch more made. I'm positive. But that's when they lost it. And then you talk about 94. It wasn't because of the problems that you're talking about with the cases and all that at that time. It was the 94 strike. That's what happened in 94.
Yep. Well,
so why is Panini not under the same pressure where they're hitting the print button on all of their products? How is it not history repeating itself there?
I think it's because people are so concerned right now with exactly what Darren just said. Darren said that it's an investor-driven market. And I think that, Panini has to look at everything. You talk to Donovan, at PSA, or you talk to Michael, who's consultant with PSA, and, they really watch out for the pop count, and they just make sure that, there's only, 6 Michael Jordan 86 Fleers that have been graded at a 10. Okay, but we know that there's 5,000 extra cases of Fleer out there that haven't even been opened. I mean, I gotta go, guys, but I think this is a bigger can of worms here that we're talking about. But the fact is that we need to do something to make sure that a lot of people can enjoy it, not just for the investment, that is still fun. And I'll leave with that's why I'm starting Muzinga.com. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Tony. We appreciate your time,
Tony.
man.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Cage, I got to run too. But you really, obviously when you're scrolling on Clubhouse and you see your freaking name as the title and you're like, wait, I wasn't invited. Really, really good move there.
You got it, man. You got it.
I feel like I had to come in the room. So.
Darren, do me a favor. I'm going to ask you for a favor. Follow me and the guys here with the orange stripes on Instagram so we can reach out to you and have you on the show, all right?
Deal.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Darren, you better hop back in one of these because I had a great point to bring up, but next time for you. Hey, the tease is always better than the information.
Because there's so much to talk about in terms of utility.
All right, we'll go. I'm here.
Yeah, no, okay, perfect. So,
by the way, Justin's a securities guy, man. He actually knows his stuff. So thanks for joining, Justin.
See you
yeah,
guys.
no problem. I work in the sports betting industry. So obviously, I know a little bit of what they're going through in terms of regulation, in terms of site performance, and what they're trying to build up right now. So obviously, like, people are, and me personally too. Like, I've been in Top Shot for a little while now, and it is frustrating when packs aren't dropped when they say they're going to drop. But for me, I understand how a technology company works and how at 90,000 people, you need to make sure you get this right so that you can build a platform for 1 million people, right? So I think that's something very important to look at. But obviously, it's one of those things that, frustration happens. We want low barriers to entry. We want people to come in and get packs right away. So that was one point I want to make. Another point was that I think we need to stop comparing this and saying that it's digital sports cards. I think it's easy and important to kind of use that as the first comparison when you're trying to bring somebody into Top Shot, because it is good to make that correlation. It's kind of easy. But the utility aspect and what we can do with these Top Shot moments down the road, I think, is super important to differentiate from what we can actually do with sports cards. So those were kind of just 2 points that I really wanted to touch on there. But I also love hearing reservation and, concern about the product. I think it's definitely healthy to have those kinds of conversations. Yeah.
I think another interesting idea, guys, on the Top Shots, somebody mentioned art earlier. Like, imagine having a flat screen TV 5 years from now, and you've got like the best, sickest collection of Top Shots just scrolling on there. And that art, that collection can only be seen in your house. So
and
I start to think
say,
down the road, and there's all kinds of places this thing can go.
Yeah, Brad, I would say look up a company called Infinite Objects. They're kind of dealing with the hardware aspect. They're a startup. I remember looking them up like probably a year ago now. But with the boom of NFTs, I think they're really going to be one of those companies that can prosper in this industry. And that's another thing that I'm super excited about is all the third-party companies, startups. The one thing I'm super excited about is that there's some kid in his room right now with his personal 3D printer, and he's printing the prototype for the cube in which we're going to display our Top Shot moments. Like, if that doesn't get you excited about a growing industry and the potential for what can come next, like, I don't know what could get you excited.
It is pretty cool to think about what you're going to be able to do with these things. I mean, that is one of those big differences, right? And I got to tell you, and maybe we could take it off Top Shot. I mean, I know everyone likes Top Shot, but why I think it works now is we are in a show-off flexing world. I think that's what makes cards, NFTs, all of this fun stuff, the crypto punks and crypto kitties. I don't know when this happened. I remember, I'm an old man, guys. I don't know when this happened, but people like to flex. People go on Instagram and show, this is the card I bought. Here's my collection. Here's the fun stuff I got. And if you're on Top Shot and you own a moment, you click one link and there it is on Twitter, and you're posting it and you're showing off that you're the one who owns this moment that there's only 40 of or only 50 of.
I didn't get any likes when I posted my Boban moment.
I like your Boban moment, but that's the thing. I mean, not everybody loves Boban. That's that's the problem. But
everyone loves Boban.
I think
everybody loves Boban.
I think that's part of what makes this thing work. You know what I mean? And I draw a comparison. People ask me, why is this something that's here to stay? And I have a hard time answering it, right? I'll give you great reasons why I like it, why I spend so much time on it, you name it. Why is it here to stay? The best I can give you is comparison to other NFTs. And Justin, you made it's a nice intro to say that it's a digital sports card or it's an NFT sport card. That's an easy way to bring a beginner in. That's like NFTs or Top Shot 101. But then you got to talk about how it's different from a sports card, what it really is. And the best that I can do for explanation is check out Twitter the next time you're on. And I've said this a couple of times, but look at the people who have those crypto punks as their avatars, right? They're spending $30,000, $40,000, what's the intrinsic value of that? There is none, right? It's just that they're one of the people who owns the 8 zombies or the 88 alien crypto punks. What's a crypto kitty? I have no idea, but people are paying crazy money for them. And it's all about status. It's all about showing off. It's all about flexing and showing your value in the world. I don't remember who it was who said that they spent so much money on Fortnite, on skins in a virtual world game for their kids, but that's a great point too. I heard Gary Vee talking recently about how much a rich person would pay for a blue check next to their name on Instagram. It's the same exact thing. This is a way that people flex their wealth, their power, I have it and you don't now. It's less about, whether or not it's a champion or whether or not it's somebody who's going to go win a title or whether it's, Giannis or LeBron. It's I have this exclusive thing and this is my way of showing you what I have. It's odd, but that's the world we seem to be living in now.
I love it. Yeah, I'd love to hear from Brady. And Justin, I agree with one thing you said, and thank you for joining the room and sharing it's a technology company, right? It's a Silicon Valley business. And it's no secret why the best technology companies do come out of that area, but you could only get it right once. Like if you look at Coinbase, if they didn't get it right once, if their wallets were hacked, there's no coming back from that. And it's better to postpone a drop. And I love that you said this because it's 100% accurate. It's better to postpone a drop than to have it go wrong and, the hacks get in the hands of bots and things like that. But Brady, you're next in line. You've been patiently waiting. Do you have a question, a topic? I appreciate you joining us here tonight.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me up here. I've definitely learned a ton from you guys for sure. There was kind of 2 points I'd like to just bring up to the room. The first one would be Top Shot was interesting to me because I was very interested in physical cards, but I feel like I just kind of got in the game late for maybe like the people who I wanted. So I was kind of outpriced on some of the things I thought I could get. And so Top Shot was appealing to me on that because I could, get in easier and not have as much, dig through eBay or worry about if it was this or that and kind of know what I'm getting into. But I was curious if some of you guys, more the OG physical guys, what you guys think, just feel overall.
What
I know you've
the
been
hell is
talking about
going
it.
on in here?
Let's go.
Brady, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What the hell I'm scrolling through Clubhouse titles, and I'm seeing a bill. Yo, if I'm not getting a cut of what you're making at the door, Cage, I'm going to talk to your lawyer, Andrew.
Well, it worked, but I got Lefkoe. I got Rovell before I got you, man. I love it. Thanks for joining me.
Listen, come on. If you had a party, who you think showing up on time and who you think showing up fashionably late? Let's be real.
Well, I don't know. I've seen your look.
Rovell's going to be there at the door with meet and greets. Hey, thanks for coming. Hey, thanks for coming.
Since when does the turtleneck with the blazer qualify as fashionably anything?
Listen, Cage, I'm not going to take whatever dribble you're spitting tonight just because you're Top Shot rich. You think you can come in here and just blabble?
By the way, that has to become a thing. Top Shot rich has to be the thing of 2021.
I hate that there are this many people in here under the guise that I am going to argue it out with you.
We're not going to argue. We're pals. We're pals.
Didn't you just make a huge Top Shot purchase? It was all over the headlines. TMZ was writing about it. I'm confused.
I will say that it is quite funny that I am a very small portion of that, but people were like, "This guy is relatable. So I would had to text the other guy. I was like, "Bro, I'm sorry.
You're the poster child now. You put 12 cents in. You're the poster child for Top Shot. I love it."
It's I wish it was 12 cents.
But at the same time, I feel like this brings up a great point that's not getting talked about, is that since you own that moment, isn't it on you to kind of market your moment, right? And kind of, now we see it with the NBA players and we can have the debate if that's kind of ruining the integrity. But also at the same time, if you own your moments, like you would cards, if you had a lot of cards, right?
Yeah, no, that's why my backing in cards, and I feel like Andrew would see it more than Cage does, is I do not like when people pump up their cards all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it's actually something that the card hobby fights the most, because it's this my main issue with Top Shot, and this is I don't think a lot of people understand market dynamics. I don't think a lot of people understand what a long-term hold and what a short flip is right now. And so the last thing that I want to do is be responsible for someone overpaying for something that could be an issue long term. That would just like weigh on my conscience and I would hate it. I always believe that I want to invest in things that on their own face have value, which when you're speaking about Top Shot is a funny sentence in general. But my that's just sensitive for me, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I feel like the people that create it, like if you're creating art NFTs, then you should promote yourself. But I don't know. I just get sensitive because of what I'm used to in the hobby.
But it's also
Lefkoe, I have a question for you.
Go ahead, Matt.
You're not looking to put that beautiful LeBron Cosmic, or was it a Cosmic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're not looking to put that back on the marketplace.
No,
anytime soon.
no, I was literally texting with a bunch of the guys tonight because so I literally did an IG live after that huge NFT convo on Clubhouse last night, and I was just like, I think I understand NFTs, and I don't think I do. And Chris Vernon from The Ringer came on, and he was talking about how him and Kevin O'Connor were like, we got to ask Lefkoe if they sold that John Morant Top Shot. And I was like,
Right.
no. I was like, guys, when you go for a serial numbered rarity, like one that you think will last the test of time, if you truly believe in this, then that's a long-term hold.
And
you know?
And I think that, I felt that yesterday because I used the word manipulating, but, I looked and I saw who are the biggest holders of some of the best cards. And, 95% of them have all their cards listed for sale, which makes me think that these people aren't in it for the right reasons.
The truth is, Lefkoe has a soft spot in his heart.
Yeah,
Jonas Valanciunas,
of course,
Jonas Valanciunas, and Belisha, who are getting dunked on, do not get enough credit in the marketplace. So he really did bought that LeBron and the John Morant moment for the two guys that are getting dunked on. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I need a clip of Aaron Baines getting his absolute head crashed. Yeah, Aaron. That honestly, my favorite part about owning a part, like, see, this is what I wish Top Shot conversations were like. My favorite part about owning that John Morant moment is that, yes, he was the second pick in the draft to Zion Williamson. Yes, during the tournament, people were watching him at Murray State and being like, I don't know, he's kind of great. I really think that in addition to us having the serial number one moment, which is so dope in my mind, but to also have the moment that I think everybody looked at each other and went, oh crap, Ja's here to stay. Like what we're experiencing with Anthony Edwards right now, where he just destroyed that dude and we all talked about it for 2 days. That's what happened with that Ja moment. It was truly a moment. And I think that's what I love about Top Shot is when the moment is actually a moment. Then it's like, I get it, and it makes sense.
Have you seen the LaMelo moment? K Jones 10 of these. It's a disgrace to Top Shot. Have you seen the LaMelo moment? It's really a Gordon Hayward moment.
I've heard about it.
You couldn't bring yourself to it. I haven't.
My favorite moment is actually the other Ja moment. I love the steal one. Not worth as much as the dunk one, the better series one. I like the one where he steals it and he does like a little shake. It's like the closest.
And this is the equivalent of me being like, I think 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron's pretty cool, but I actually like his finest more.
Yeah, I do like his finest, the white suit one. I love it.
Right. And so like that's where Kay just heard me say this. That's where I'd love Top Shot conversations to get to, where it's not, look how much money I'm making. It's like really talking about the moments. But
with Adam here adding some legitimacy to the room, let me say this before he leaves and joins us greener pasture somewhere else and everybody goes with him.
I'm just going to watch TNT.
I love listen, and everybody, if you're not watching TNT, watch it. Shaq makes Lefkoe look silly basically every time.
Ernie, the goatiest goat that ever goated, is on tonight, and my Sixers are destroying Luka right now.
Nice.
Let's go Sixers.
So that's not good for my hollow Luka. Come on now, let's go. So here's what I'm going to say. be careful with Top Shot, folks, right? You know, I have a lot of moments in the whole deal. When people start talking about my account is worth X, they're already wrong right off the bat. Okay, it's not worth anything. I love the fact that there are tools out there that are market evaluator, market valuator, all these things. But basically, what that is doing, and don't get this wrong, this is exactly what it's doing, is if you were to go in and click buy it now, like an eBay buy it now, on all the cards to replicate that person's portfolio, that's how much it would cost you. It doesn't mean it's worth it. Now, Matt, who was up here before, he talked last night about a Zach Levine moment that was $55,000. And it's crazy, it's 55. It's not $55,000. It's never sold for more than like 16. But right now, if you were to evaluate your market value, that would go in there as 55,000. No one's paying $55,000. So that is just the cheapest one that's available for sale. So I just want to make sure that everybody,
set my expectations straight for the Sixers this season. Are we going to the finals?
I heard something tonight, like they're like 46-4 the last 2 seasons at home. So if they get that 1 seed, if I was picking a team out of the East, I'm picking the Nets. Like, I just have a hard time in half court playoff basketball picking against 3 of the best players in the NBA, where like I'm not ready to fully commit to Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris in the playoffs yet. I'm just not. So,
but
I heard we had a few Philly fans here, so
you at least got to admit that having Doc Rivers and putting in Seth Curry and Danny Green has totally changed that offense.
and it's
just beautiful.
Hey, by the way, when I came in, Brady was talking. So Brady, I apologize.
Hey man, no one else I'd rather get interrupted with. It's all good. And Cage, I like to see that your title work because it successfully got both guys in here. So kudos to that as well. Man, so I'll jump to Justin. You may be able to speak on this. I know we talked about like the pack, for instance, today getting delayed, and they've had plenty of other delays in the past. Do y'all think going forward that this is, with more and more people joining, like you said, I mean, if there's 1 million users, do you think they're honestly going to be able to get this, I guess, successfully the way they want it? Just because I've seen with bots online in various places, whether it be shoes or Supreme or, whatever the market is, that as soon as the site updates something, there's people behind the scenes and they just go update their end, and then it kind of just goes back and forth.
Brady, I'd like to say yes, right? I don't know whether or not I'm right, but I'd like to say yes. They've had some pretty significant drops that they've interrupted, they've postponed, including one that was supposed to happen today that they pushed back a couple times today and go to tomorrow because of what they're saying was bot activity that they're trying to prevent. So they're taking some short-term lumps. I mean, if you go on their Discord, I mean, there are people livid. Come on, how could they do this? How long are they going to be in beta? This is ridiculous. Think of how much money they're making. They can't get this right. And I'd like to think that they're taking those short-term lumps for getting it. I've heard everything from, keeping stuff rare to, their original vision, which was anytime you go on there, there's supposed to be a pack available for you. Now, I don't think they ever imagined it being this popular this fast. But if they do that, you're talking about something with, packs that have an EV that approaches or negative to what the packs actually sell for.
I think this is amazing for business. I think it's amazing because my biggest concern about all this is you guys are like real cool with these commons being one of 15,000, and I'm not cool with that. Like, that's all cool, but then like you're releasing 2 or 3 packs a week, so that's like 60,000 of like certain, and that's like one moment, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, to have this delay where it's crashing and people can't get it and people want it, I think it's actually great for business. I don't like when a really desired product is so easy to get. I'm not saying that I don't want people to get them, but I know it's going to be super competitive, but I think in terms of the long term, I think it's great for the values of the moments, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, tomorrow morning there's going to be 200,000 plus people on a queue to get 11,000 packs.
Like, that's crazy.
I guess real quick, just before you go, Justin, and I'll popcorn it to you. We've been talking about Top Shot for an hour, 19 minutes here. We haven't mentioned this, but I think this is important. No more than 10% of your portfolio, if you're talking about your entire sports card balance, in my opinion, should be invested in Top Shot. It's a nice gamble. It's a nice kind of lottery play that if you hit it and you play the right moments in the marketplace, you'll win. But I wouldn't put more than 10% of your portfolio investment balance into Top Shot. That's just my 2 cents. And in my clubhouse room, I want that to be clear. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, so no, I'll just touch on that a little bit, but like the goal is to make sure that this is a sustainable long-term, functioning website, right? Like we're so used to what have you done for me lately, and the amount of growth that we've seen in just the last couple weeks. Like imagine being a company that you're on a steady pace. Like they did not expect this to happen, right? Exponential growth out the ass. So they need to bring new people in. They need to onboard people. Like they need to get their systems updated. Like to be able to handle the amount of traffic that they've kind of turned up in the last few weeks is like insane for what they expected. They've turned off all of their marketing. So this is all organic right now. The players are getting involved and it's bumping things up. So like, yeah, I'm as somebody who is super on board with it and has been for 6 weeks now, like I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing now. And I understand it's frustrating. Yes, I'm frustrated as a user, and I think everybody should be. And I think they should do a better job with their comms in kind of explaining things. I don't know necessarily if this was a bot issue. I think it's easy to say it's a bot issue. I think it's more of like a sustainability in terms of different things like servers and all that stuff. But yeah, that's just kind of my take. And Adam, one thing that I did want to say that I had said before you jumped in is that we need to stop comparing Top Shot to sports cards. I think it's great to use it as an entry point for somebody that doesn't know what Top Shot is, because you can make that one off into digital sports cards. But at some point, we need to stop calling it digital sports cards because there is such a utility aspect to it that we really haven't even touched on or
Can you
seen
touch
the
on the
potential for.
utility? Because I hear that they're going to make it a game. What is the utility going to be in your mind?
Yeah, definitely. So definitely gamification is huge. I think something like challenges is such a small portion of a gamification aspect that you don't get with physical cards. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
only
not a utility. That's just a way to get more cards.
true, but it's something that
Excuse
you
me,
don't.
moments.
Yeah, and no, that's totally fine. It's something that you can't do with your Tops or Panini cards, right? All you can do is buy a raw card and grade it and then display it. So to that point, that's something that's different that gives it utility. In terms of gamification, yes, they're working on a game called Hardcourt. I think a lot more details are still to come out, but I think third-party companies are going to start looking into things like fantasy aspects or games like 2K. And I think that this is just the beginning too.
Talk about the fantasy
Adam,
and sports betting utility that could be possible with Top Shot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's a potential for people to use their moments in fantasy lineups. That's like an easy correlation.
Couldn't you envision, Justin, a situation where a DraftKings, FanDuel, some betting Thrive app, somebody who wants to compete with them, licenses this or gets into a deal with the NBA and Top Shot where your fantasy lineups can only be made with your moments? 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that's a
what
possibility.
SoRare does right now? I think SoRare is doing something similar like that with soccer cards, but football cards. It is very interesting because it's when people talk about how NBA 2K is bringing in however many billions of dollars for people opening packs, and the same thing with the Ultimate Team with FIFA. I wasn't, I'm just gonna be honest, I really wasn't that aware of how much money people are spending making these teams that get recycled and cleared out every year. They get erased when the new game comes out. And so the notion that this could be something that doesn't get erased every year, I mean, she.
Yeah, I mean, look,
100%. And also,
100. Yep.
one more thing real quick,
Please,
because
Justin.
Warren Sharp, Adam, jumped in, and I was talking with him last night, and I kind of wanted his take on what he was kind of seeing from the outside and what he thought
He
the potential
talks
was
to
for the
me a
NFL.
lot though, so he's biased.
Yeah, no, I was talking to him about like what the potential is for like the NFL or something like this, and then you bring up the game aspect, and like we're talking about 2K, but also Madden Ultimate Team, and how like that idea that you just talked about, where you have these kids that buy up all these packs within the game, and they're only stuck on the game, and you can't really do anything with them until the next game, and then you have to buy new ones, and so yeah.
Here's what I want, right? So it's fun. There's utility of it, but it's utility and fun and people talking about it, Lefkoe. So when is it, going to be that when Shaq's finished getting his butt kicked in the cage, and he's done messing around with the general, and he finally, gets whatever insurance he's supposed to get, when he does a collaboration with them and a set of Shaq and the Fool moments or something like that. I mean, what I love about it, and it's great, everybody can talk about their value and how it's going up into the moon, and that's a little ridiculous. But what I like about it is when people talk about what you can do with it, what kind of moments they want to see, what sets they want to see. In the off season, they're going to go back like the run it backs. Who do they want to see in those sets? Who are the guys whose moments they want to see? Which dunk? Can we do a dunk contest set? I mean, those are the conversations that I like to hear.
I would love to see throwback moments like T-Mac scoring 13 points in 31 seconds. I don't know if you could make a moment out of that, but that would be that's nostalgic. I remember where I was during that moment. So Lefkoe, Justin, you guys could jump in, but throwback moments would crush it for me.
I was just joking with somebody last night. I want to see like moments that are like random, like Jason Kidd spilling drinks on himself on purpose to get an extra timeout, or like Dennis Rodman kicking the photographer.
Yeah, Ron Artest going in the crowd.
Charles Barkley kissing Dick Bavetta at the All-Star game on the lips. But my thing is too is I've heard people say this, which is wait until this is available in China. And I was reading something, and I feel like Cage might know something, or someone else might. So apparently China uses a cryptocurrency called, and I want to say it's yuan. And they don't really use a lot of crypto over there. My also curiosity is with everything that happened with the league with Daryl Morey. I'm curious what the availability is going to be. And the reason that I'm posing it to you guys is you remember when soccer cards, which I know are doing really well right now, are when they started having that little boom in April and May, it's because everybody was like, wait until Europe gets into it. And so I always get a little bit worried when people talk about an untapped foreign market, just because you don't know how they're going to react to it. But I just wasn't sure what the relationship is with some of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto, and what's really available to them.
I love that Lefkoe said Cage would know that. Go ahead, Justin. Cage knows nothing about blockchain. Come on now.
Well, actually, the yuan that he's talking about, the DCEP, that's
nice.
It's not blockchain. It's so China's got a weird thing, right? They are pushing towards cashless society, right? The digital yuan you're talking about, the DCEP, it's different than normal crypto because it is actually legal tender. It's centralized, not anonymous. It's actually controlled by the People's Bank of China. So you're right, Adam. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about how, hey, wait till China gets into it. But yeah, China's adoption or lack thereof of cryptocurrency is actually a pretty big issue.
Damn, Andrew, he just sunned you so hard. That was such a good answer.
Listen, I sun him
that's
every
our
day.
dynamic. You don't think it has anything to do with
by the way,
teeing him up like a softball?
He knew. Yeah, there you go. He knew I knew the answer. This is part of the shtick, man. No, but the funny part is that I'm on Top Shot, and I've never owned a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever in my life. I put my credit card on it and started playing. So I know people in China have those.
Yeah, no, I was totally going to bring that up because we don't have to be crypto geniuses to understand how to buy and sell on Dapper, on NBA Top Shot, right? That's one of the beautiful things about this is they make it so easy for you to use a debit or credit card
Or if you do own crypto and you want to use crypto, you're more than willing and able to use crypto. But they make the barrier to entry so easy, and to get people into it, that they make it the conversion easy. So I could see it down the road where, you know, maybe it's the yen or something, or whatever countries they go into, where they make those conversion rates possible and you can add to your Dapper balance. I think in due time, and I think when they're ready to really push a global, a global campaign, I think that's definitely possible. Even in, each part of the entire world has a smartphone. Like, I think we need to start considering that too. And if you do want to talk about, ways to make money non-traditionally, and you want to talk about it as an alternative asset, like, you can start, making some of those connections why this could be desirable in a bunch of other countries.
Absolutely. And frankly, I don't know how this works. I don't know how credit cards work, but they work, right? So that's where we're getting with blockchain, where we don't need to necessarily know how things work to use them. Connor, I added you to the room. Do you have a question? Do you have a topic that you want us to cover?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's
Yeah, I
going on,
did just
Connor?
want to bring up, I actually played basketball in college. I had the honor of having to play Steph Curry 4 times when he was at Davidson.
Where
and,
at? Where at?
I was at Furman, and we lost by probably a combined 120 points in 4 games.
Did you lock him up?
But, no, my joke, but it's pretty true, is that he guarded me so he could rest on defense and just save his energy for offense. But I did make a shot in his face. But one thing I did want to bring up,
there we go.
I've heard this, Lefkoe, you were talking about.
I did make a shot in his face, but anyway.
Anyway, you were talking about how you want to hear more conversation about the moments, and I know that's one thing that Darren talks about a lot, is how no one's talking about the moments; they're talking about the money. I'd be lying if I wasn't excited about the gains that my portfolio has made, but I think we're kind of forgetting, and they haven't been doing this for a full calendar
Since
year, I don't believe.
October.
And I think, yeah, and so I think right now, there's some really just weird moments, random moments. Tyler Hero had a moment from a 40-point loss, but I don't think it's going to take long before every single moment is a top 10 highlight. And I think of games that I've been to as a fan, and I would love to collect moments from games that I've been to, and I think that's something that once they start doing that, I'm curious what the criticism will be, because they're going to get there where all the moments are top 10 highlights.
I heard someone say, and I think it's a great point, that when fans get in the stands, because we don't have any right now, and people are in the moments, especially in slow-mo replays, especially because you're getting 3 or 4 angles, that would be really cool to own a moment that you are captured in. I also think, to what you were saying about the moments not being in a great game, this is also normal. LeBron's true rookie card is of I think a preseason game against the Pistons, and he bricked the shot. But that still image is him looking, shooting over Ben Wallace. So I think it's interesting. There's always going to be, I think, a premium placed on first. But I also think that Top Shot, the fan aspect is really cool. What a special thing to be in the back of a LeBron moment or something like that.
I just want to be in the back of that LaMelo assist to Gordon Hayward. That would make my life complete. I always forget no one could laugh at my jokes in this.
Another thing too to talk about once fans get back to games is the user experience of going to next year's All-Star game, scanning a QR code, and getting a never to be released in PAX moment that is for this All-Star game, right? There's those things that they can incorporate too, which I definitely think that they.
You single-handedly gave a great idea and explained why simply getting a ticket at a sporting event means nothing. But if an NFT comes with it, you bet your bottom dollar that people are going to be in line and saving those tickets. Sorry, I had to go on that little rant. Rovell's not here. I would have used that on him.
Yeah, and I think we can totally see promotions and marketing teams for all the different sports teams, right? Like when you go to a bobblehead night, like there's a collectability aspect to that bobblehead, and I don't see much of a difference now. They're physical versus non-fungible token, all those sorts of things, and one might carry more value, but it's still that same concept of the promotion aspect, in my opinion. There.
And go ahead, Connor. We'll wrap with this, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I'm not a huge music fan, but it's always cool when your favorite band records a live album. You can say you were there for it. I mean, I just think that there is going to be a collector aspect to this that is getting overshadowed by the get rich quick people. But if you think long term, I think the plays are going to be amazing. You're going to have personal connections to them, and I think that there will be a collectability to them moving forward.
So Lefkoe, first off, personal thank you for joining us. So if there's one takeaway for me, we named this room Watch Lefkoe and Rovell Argue with Cage about cards and Top Shot. Well, we started the conversation with cards, the Prism release, and the second 95% has been all Top Shot. So for one thing or another,
that's every room I've been in.
If there's nothing else, the demand is there, the attention is there. But if I've learned anything in my 31 years, which isn't a lot, but attention's very fleeting. And as quick as it comes, it leaves much faster. So it's just something as an investor, if you're sitting there with like $1 million, $2 million, $50,000 portfolio, there's nothing wrong with taking profits, reinvesting them in something, that is more tried and true while still leaving some and enjoying the gamification of it without having to worry, what if this all goes to zero? You've already taken some profit off the table and now you're having fun. I think that's a big deal. It's not talked about enough.
I think that it's important for all investors to experience what it means to hold something for too long and feel what it's like to let greed cost you money.
I held AMC stock since Tuesday and then got crushed today. So I'll tell you firsthand.
What's up, Justin?
No, I was
Justin
just
also holding AMC stock.
No, I think that this generation learned a lot over this last month, whether it's GameStop, even though it's going up, AMC, if you're in the sports card market, the boom in August and when everything dropped in September. I think it's important to feel that because I think the fact that the meme stonks always go up was so prevalent. And look, I think it's funny. It's not true because the question is, what is it coming up from? And it's not just from the beginning. We've had plenty of resets, especially with new markets. And Andrew, if I was going to teach you one other lesson, is that while you guys are running these clubhouses and talking about all the attention, I've been focusing on cards. And so I think when you watch everyone start talking about something else, that's an amazing time to start actually focusing on the other things. Who's focusing on the tangible right now? So I just, it's always a game of push and pull and look and no look and light and darkness. I wish I was buying actual cards. I just wanted to say that to sound really mysterious.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're absolutely right. Lefkoe, you want to do one more question for the audience? I never know how to wrap these clubhouse rooms. They could go till the next morning. I've had that happen. Should we do one question? I have also a question for Justin because he says he's a believer of Dogecoin, and I don't understand what the F of Dogecoin is. So while I have someone here, that'd be cool to clear up. But Lefkoe, if you're down, we could do one more question.
Yeah, I'll do one more, and then it's the halftime show.
Let's go.
I got a question. How many wins did the Sixers finish with? But then you can answer a real question after that.
So I'm not good at that math. There's 72 games this year, so there's 10 less games. So I would say they finish with 52 out of 72. I don't know if that's good.
All right, give it 6 months. What's worth more? The LaMelo Ball Top Shot 4,000 mint assist or
not an assist.
LaMelo Ball's first Prism PSA 10
When does Prism get dropped?
next month, April.
So you're
Unless they put it back
see
again.
this is what's crazy is there's no way that that one of those cards is going to get graded by PSA in 6 months, and that's such an advantage for Top Shot. LaMelo Ball's PSA 10s came right out the gate. You know what I mean? Like it's a mad dash. So I would say, man, 6 months. I don't think Top Shot's going to settle down before the playoffs, and you know what I mean? Like in 4 or 5 months, we're in the playoffs and we're in the finals. So I don't think it's this season for Top Shots to slow down. I don't know if it's going to go at this crazy pace. I mean, what's going to happen this year that's going to slow it down would be my only question.
So Lefkoe, I pulled in Frank. He's a marketing major at Temple, so he's a Philly guy. Frank, welcome to the clubhouse. Last question, man, or last comment, last statement. What's up? What's top of mind?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. So
guys, hold on, Frank, hold on. There's a magical moment. Chuck is late to the set, and he's not wearing his jacket.
Describe it for us. Describe it for us because we can't see anything.
With his and now they're interviewing Ben Simmons. He just wasn't ready. You guys have to understand that, like, we're all supposed to look at the clock with like 1:30 or like 2 minutes, and I'm to get out there early. And I guess he just, this is so good. Okay,
that's amazing.
Frank, what's good?
Yeah, so I've been seeing artists are making their own NFTs, selling their art on NFT. So I wonder if there's any way, like on Top Shot, where I'm a fan. I remember a couple years ago, the Sixers won a big game against the Trailblazers with a big defensive stand at the end of the game. Is there any way that I'm going to be able one day to request that a Top Shot is made of that, and it's a serial 1 of 1, and I'm the only one who can own that Top Shot? Maybe I'm not allowed to sell it on the marketplace, but what do you guys think about that? Fans being able to create their own 1 of 1 moments.
I would say if they were smart, that they would figure out a way to incorporate that, similar to that you can get other stuff customizable. Not saying that it's in their plans, but I think it would be a smart idea, definitely.
I always go to the how. I don't even know how that would be possible. Like the logistics of creating
It
that
also
scenario.
just seems like such a heavy lift from Top Shot for such a low reward. Like, how much do they have to charge you to go look through the file? Like, I doubt they have that much access. If I was guessing what the agreement is, I bet you they need to give them a certain moment each month. Like, I bet you they're sitting down as a group and they're figuring, okay, we got to get something with LaMelo. Something. I bet you there's a certain amount of asks. I do not think like it's hard for TNT to go back into the vault and find a moment to put on national television. The notion that they're going to spend that amount of time finding a moment for your personal collection, like they would have to charge you thousands upon thousands of dollars just to do that for the manpower they'd be taking away from other things. That would be my reaction.
If you're Elon Musk, they'll do it. Lefkoe, let me ask you though. So like, we mentioned, you're a fan and that you capture the experience or the moment where you're in the stands. But wouldn't the NBA have to change their tickets and everything where a fan could go and sue because Top Shot and NBA is making money off their likeness? Isn't there an element of
No, I
that?
bet you that if you looked at the back of those tickets, it even says if you may be used on camera, like I bet you ever look at the back of a ticket, there's like $1 million fine print. I would imagine it says something on there. Because the only story I've ever heard something like that's positive is that dude that got off for murder because he was in the back of a Curb Your Enthusiasm shoot at Dodger Stadium. But
by the way, that was
heard
amazing.
that story?
You haven't seen that? That was they made a whole documentary about it. That was awesome.
Yeah, some dude was accused for murder, but because he went to a Dodgers game and Larry David was shooting an episode where he took a prostitute to the Dodgers game, he was in the back, and that's how he got off as his alibi. It's amazing.
Wow. What a way to end a clubhouse. So,
Frank, I'm
just
sorry.
A big thank you
I
from
hope
all
it
of
can
us.
happen. I'm just thinking in terms of production, but I hate to be a Debbie Downer in these things because in the words of Kevin Garnett, anything's possible, but I just think that would be hard.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're already sort of crowdsourcing it with the fans, like hashtag NBA Top Shot this. They're trying to get the fans interactive and seeing what Top Shots fans want to see. So I wonder how far they're actually going to take that.
So That's an amazing way to end it. We appreciate all your guys' time. So I don't know if you know, the two guys in the top left, Gavin, Jordan, they're the ones that set this up. You know, our team is growing, but really Cage and I, we started this podcast with one mission. You know, Cage has been in this hobby for 20 years. I've been in the hobby for 2 years. We've all made mistakes. We've made money. We've lost money. And we just want to share and add value to you guys. And hopefully there was some benefit in this episode. There's something you could take away. I know we talked a lot about Top Shot and NFTs, but we're really, really, really grateful that you would spend this evening with us.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Darren Rovell, who's not in here now. But thank you both for joining us and making our title come true. Put it out there in the universe, folks, and it will happen.
Oh, Cage. I love it, brother. Yeah, and we'll be doing these every Thursday at 8 p.m. We would do like a Coffee with Cage episode, which was like our weekly Q&A. And now with the emergence of Clubhouse, we've kind of moved it here. So we love that you joined us.
When was that Cage photo taken?
2019, a little bit before COVID. Thank you.
We're getting him a personal trainer, Lefkoe.
Thank you for pointing that out, Adam.
No,
I appreciate it.
Who? You don't know what I was saying with that?
We all know.
They've been giving me crap all day.
You said you seesaw. You seesaw. That's what you said.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Too. I'm on the down part of the seesaw. My ass needs to get to the top part. Thanks for having me. Thanks for goading me in here with a fake title that I didn't know. So appreciate it.
It turned out to be a real title. It was
Yes,
only fake
yes.
until you made it real. Thank you, Adam.
Peace.
Later. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lukas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.